I'm just finishing my warm-up, which on this grade is right now a hike. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for this new trail that some of the neighbors have started to put in, and it's going up kind of this middle spur of Adams Canyon, and maybe it's right here. Supposed to look for a right hand turn. Well, I'll look for it when I start when I start my workout. I am up. Turn off the watch. I'm headed up to Adams Canyon, across the road from home, and 15-minute warm-up, and now I've got about a 1,200 foot climb in a mile. And as I've mentioned in previous episodes, that I'm starting to change up my training this year to continue to progress with my goals. And normally the last 3 years I would run this nice and steady, almost kind of as easy as I can go, because of there's so much vertical gain. But today I'm going to do it more interval style. I'm going to run maybe 2-3 minutes rather hard, building heart rate up to above threshold. And then I'm going to hike for about 1 or 2 minutes to let things recover, bring the heart rate down, and then run again. So the idea with intervals in itself is you're trying to accumulate a certain amount of time much faster than you normally would by running it steady through the use of doing it faster intervals. So that's the point today. And what we're going to talk about today is, what would I tell you if you signed up for a 50-mile race in the mountains of Colorado? This race has 23,000 feet of vertical gain within 50 miles. That's over 400 feet of gain per mile. And what would I say if you're coming from flatland? So my athlete, what does she have to do? She has to train super, super hard and super, super hard on the treadmill, because she doesn't have those type of training terrain for her weekly training leading up to this race in Colorado. So we're going to talk about how do you deal with really, really hard workouts. It's more of a mental exercise today, but we're gonna talk about that. So I'm gonna start my workout, and speaking of hard, this is gonna be hard. All right, headed up. Shoes. I've got my Dynafit Feline Up Pro, and I picked these because of the kind of whirl all-around tread it has on its outsole. So I'm going to probably hit snow, or at least some softer ground, up or higher. So I wanted something that's going to grip almost on everything. Right now it's dry and loose, and so these shoes are really good. They're 4 mil drop and super light, and just I like them for real mountain terrain. So we're going to use those today, and I'm going to head up the mountain. So let's go. One down. It's pretty nice out. A little chilly, but got storm clouds all over, so it might get wet later. Feeling pretty good. What I'm doing is, like I said, I'm watching my heart rate, but I'm also trying to peg my watts just right above threshold. It's a perfect workout for watts. Just caught myself going too hard. So I was going along and like, wow, this is hard. supposed to be hard, but then I looked at my watch and I realized they were too high. So I backed off to keep it successful and to achieve what I want to achieve today. More is not always better, better's better. And with this, it's really important, tell my athletes all the time, don't confuse difficulty with failure, okay? I was going hard and starting to flail a little bit, and my mind could have went to, wow, this is really hard. I'm not doing too well at this, I'm failing. And all I was going too hard. So I backed off, things felt better, and I'm still achieving what I needed to achieve. So don't confuse difficulty as failure. All right. And the key with intervals in a workout like this, your intervals just need to be faster than what your steady effort is. Then you're accomplishing a lot. Your cumulative time is going to be faster, added all together, versus what it would have been on a long, steady effort. Starting to open up. I hit snow way back there last week, so things are really starting to open up. All right, we're coming up on the summit bid. First time this year. All the snow's melted, but it's starting to snow a little bit. We're almost at 8,000 feet. So, a few more minutes. Wow, oh, kind of a struggle today. Here's the summit of today. Let's take a peek over the other side and see what snow is like. I can go down here, run south, and wrap around and do a loop, or go down the ridge. Normally I do a loop, but snow looks pretty good. You can head this way and go up and over to Snow King and into town. So, a lot of options. Let's find a tree. Whew. Oh man. I was kind of fighting a stomach bud last 2 days, and I probably should have postponed this run until tomorrow, because I took yesterday off, and whether it's I'm still a little sick or I'm just stale from taking the day off, I should have postponed it until tomorrow. But that's good to know, is you always, maybe if you had to take a day off or two and you weren't feeling well, maybe get a easy run in with some leg openers, and then do it the following day so your legs are kind of used to going again. So note to self next time. But so I kind of struggled. My heart rate was good. I was able to perform, but it was more of a struggle than I wanted it to be, which is a great segue into our piece today. So the Apache warriors used to put their young runners through initiation, and anthropologists coined this term as the novice complex. And what they would do is that as these young runners started to reach manhood, they would start putting them through initiations and very, very hard training. For example, they might run up a 4-mile hill to the top of a butte with water in their mouth, and they couldn't swallow the water. When they got to the top of the butte after 4 miles, they have to spit the water out to prove they were able to run with just their nose breathing. They would also have to go run all night barefoot without any light. So they would have to feel the ground and have very great attention to awareness. And so with this initiation, the idea was that they're putting these young runners through very, very extreme conditions. So when they go to battle, they're tested prior to battle, and their brain and their body is conditioned for battle, and battle becomes a little easier. Maybe the training's more difficult than the battle itself, because quite often their tactic in battle would be to run in, have the battle, but then disperse individually in all different directions, spending a night or two alone. So they needed to be prepared for this. Another part of the initiation would be to run all day without food. So again, once they're dispersing from the battle and running away from the enemy, they would be alone without food for a very long time. And so again, the idea was to make training as hard as possible so the battle was just a little bit easier. And that mirrors kind of the whole ethos of the Kenyan runners, is to train extremely hard, win easy. And that leads me back to my athlete who lives in the Midwest, flatland, and is, like I mentioned earlier, is signed up and training for this huge race in Colorado, 50 miler. And so I got a message from her yesterday after her hard hill workout on the treadmill. And she started the message off, "That sucked." And we kind of got talking, and we had a good conversation back and forth about how we need to embrace hard workouts. And we, like I mentioned earlier, we don't want to ride that line of all of a sudden something is very difficult, and therefore, since it's difficult, we perceive it as being failure. Is that, hey, it shouldn't be this difficult. And I tell my athletes, if it wasn't that difficult, it wasn't the proper workout for that day. And when it's supposed to be hard, it's supposed to be hard, and it's supposed to challenge your body and your mind. And if it's not doing that, then you either didn't execute properly or I didn't write it properly. And so we want it to suck. And we got into talking about how it's really, really, really important to prepare yourself for a workout like this. We talked about visualization before. You know, the Native Americans used visualization all the time to create the environment or the outcome they want. So one, we can do visualization before a workout like this to really see how we want to perform, see ourselves in the suck, in the hard, and see how we respond. But maybe where I'm going with this today is that oftentimes when we maybe are dealing with preparing the mind for a hard effort, we start to maybe think that we should enjoy a hard workout. And I think that's a slippery slope to go down, is that you're not going to enjoy it. Nobody's going to enjoy it. You shouldn't enjoy it. It's meant to be that initiation, that novice complex, that it's supposed to challenge your body and your mind. And when we're challenging and shocking the brain, it's not fun. But we're training hard to win easy. Or we're training hard to make the race just a little bit easier. Or in this case, we're training very, very hard because she's not in that environment on a daily basis to challenge herself in the mountains for this race. So we need to prepare her mind so something that's foreign to her, when she gets to the race, it's just a little bit easier and her mind's prepared. So watch yourself and see if you start to expect yourself to like or enjoy a workout while you're doing it. And don't let yourself go there. Say, hey, this is going to be hard. I'm not going to like it. I'm going to do my best, but it's not going to be fun. But I'm also, when I'm done, I'm going to look myself in the mirror and smile and say, I did it. And more importantly, notice that feeling that you have of being proud of yourself after you've done it. Because then, once you realize how good this feeling is, then you can use that for future workouts and say, yes, this is going to be hard. I remember how hard it is. It's not meant to be easy. If it's easy, I'm not doing it right. But I'm really looking forward to that big smile in the mirror when I'm done, and knowing how good I feel about myself when I'm done after doing this. Okay, so don't expect a like a hard workout. Okay, go into your novice complex and train hard to make your ultimate goal feel just a little bit easier. All right.